Right now, we're going to try to get to something the Panthers can do for Bryce Young. Help. Not quite SOS style help. I'm not like, this isn't a tears in your eyes, help me, help you situation.
I was getting there.
It's this. Bryce Young is a young quarterback. For a year-ish, he needs the help of everyone in the Panthers organization. Pretend. Here's my advice to everybody in the Panthers organization, teammates, coaches, on and on. Pretend Bryce Young is an underdog. Now, I know everything about him says he is not an underdog, right? He was one of the top recruits in his class. He went from a powerhouse in California at his high school to Alabama, where he won a Heisman. He became the #1 overall pick. And again, I mentioned at Alabama, it's hard to imagine he is an underdog. So this is a pretend scenario. Pretend he's Brock Purdy. Pretend. Or how about this? Pretend he is this year's Zach Wilson. Right, because Zach Wilson was a top pick also, but this year he's an underdog, right? He's the backup being thrust into the spotlight. Here's Panthers offensive coordinator Thomas Brown on how Bryce responded to the loss last week.
Every quarterback is different. Every player is different. I think obviously Bryce is super competitive, as we all are. And I think it's great to see sometimes from an emotional standpoint that responds. But back in the building on Monday, we made the initial corrections, including him and every other group, whether it's running backs, O-line, tight ends, receiver-wise from a unit meeting standpoint. And once we make those corrections, we move on and go back to work.
That's how he's moving on, going back to work. Coach, speak. I've been watching all the behind-the-scenes stuff. You'll learn this about me as the football season goes along. Sucker for mic'd up. I love it. Right? If there's a player on the field mic'd up, I'm going to watch. Right? When the video pops up, I'm clicking on it every time. So I've been watching all of it, right? The week 1 mic'd up stuff. The Zach Wilson stuff stuck out to me as far as taking a page out of someone else's, right? The NFL's a copycat league. The Panthers could copycat what the Jets were doing with Zach Wilson a little bit, right? Go watch some of the mic'd up stuff. Allen Lazard, right? A veteran. Would you call him a journeyman? It's a second place, but he's not like an established, a cornerstone.
He's just one of those like
role player.
He's a veteran role player.
Veteran role player. Allen Lazard was giving words of wisdom to Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, #2 overall pick, quarterback, highly paid. Allen Lazard is sitting there going, you feel that weight off your shoulders? The weight's off you. It's on them now. He's pointing to the other team. He's giving them words of wisdom. Garrett Wilson made an unbelievable play on a bad throw from Zach Wilson. Let's just call it what it is. The Garrett Wilson touchdown where he tipped it to himself, that was a back shoulder fade thrown to the front shoulder. Like it wasn't a good throw. That's not to say it was the worst throw in the world, but it wasn't a good throw. You would have thought when Zach Wilson and Garrett Wilson came to the sideline that Garrett Wilson had caught an absolute dime. Because he was bro, that was so good, bro, you good, bro, did you see yourself running? Just hyping up Zach Wilson. Breece Hall tweeted out. Breece Hall is a running back coming off major knee surgery. He had 100 yards on 2 carries, ended with 130 basically on a couple touches. He tweeted out, we all believe in 2, meaning Zach Wilson. The defense picked off Josh Allen 3 times, forced him to fumble a 4th time. Everybody was supporting Zach Wilson. Bryce Young is not an underdog. He's not a backup being thrown into a tough situation, but he needs some of that. He needs some after an interception, don't worry about it, or after a touchdown play, the hype. He needs some defense carrying the offense when he's having a rough day. He needs a wide receiver to make a play on a ball that they should not catch it anyway, and then come to the sideline and say, great throw. He needs some hype. It's tempting, right? Tempting to say you're the #1 overall pick. We're going to lean on you. But you should be helping him by letting him lean on you rather than you lean on him. Right? You go, like I tried to think about it in college terms. You might have a 5-star stud freshman that everybody knew was going to start from the moment they stepped on campus. But in college, it seems more obvious that 5-star stud freshman would be on the field. It doesn't matter if they're a senior, that it's their first year playing and they're a former walk-on. Like, they're going to be looking out for the freshmen, right? When Trevor Lawrence stepped in for Clemson, I'm trying to think of the biggest recruits. When the top recruits are out there as true freshmen. Doesn't matter that they were a top recruit. The seniors are going to put their arm around them. They're going to protect them. They're going to make sure they know what they're doing. They're going to hype them up when they do well. They're going to protect them when they do poorly. And that is kind of what I'm looking for here. Bryce Young had his ups and downs, the roller coaster of a rookie quarterback. That's going to happen, right? But what I didn't see, and I want to see more of, are people taking it off his plate, right? Like Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, what was that? He led a fourth quarter comeback. We track fourth quarter comebacks in the NFL, right? This quarterback led in fourth quarter comebacks. This quarterback led in game-winning drives. That's like a stat on their Pro Football Reference page.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Wilson got one of each.
That he does.
Or actually, he didn't get the game-winning drive because it was a punt return. But he got a fourth quarter comeback.
That he did.
He didn't play well enough to get a fourth quarter comeback.
No.
But the team did it for him.
Yeah.
Like, who are the most winning rookie quarterbacks you can remember, right? The Ben Roethlisbergers, the Matt Ryans, Joe Flacco's, guys that won, Brock Purdy, guys that won from the moment they stepped up as rookies. You know what else they had? A whole bunch of talent around them to make them look very good. Now, you better find a way, Panthers. You might not have the talent around him, but you better do everything you can to make it easy for him. Don't be tempted to say, oh, he's a Heisman Trophy winner from Alabama, #1 overall pick. He doesn't need our help.
He's supposed to help us.
Yeah, he's supposed to make our job. Nah, I don't think that's how it works. I don't care if a kid has good balance. You still have to start him on training wheels.
Yeah.
He might be able to kick the training wheels off faster than a kid that doesn't have good balance, but you still got to start him on training wheels.
Well, I know you mentioned Brock Purdy. You and I were talking about this before we went on air. I know he's got a lot better talent around him, does Brock Purdy, but they're not asking him to be great. They're just asking him just to be good. Yeah, he doesn't have to be a quote-unquote top 10 level QB. He just needs to be competent and good. That's all he needs to be. And I wish Carolina was in a position where Bryce Young, that's all he had to be like, hey, just go be good. If you're great, sure, we're going to take it, but we're not going to ask you to do that.
Yeah, we're going to ask you to be efficient. Like, how awesome would it be if you just look at Bryce Young and say, just be efficient, right?
Yeah, that's it.
We don't need you to do anything crazy. I feel like the Panthers are the opposite. They're looking at him going, we need you to be crazy. It's Patrick Mahomes when Travis Kelce's out. We need you to make something out of nothing, except this guy's in his second career game this year. Patrick Mahomes has 2 MVPs.